right, let's quickly go through the advanced question options on Google Forms. So I've got some examples already for us to talk about. So whenever you're adding a question to a Google form, you get options here for the style of question that you're going to use in the form. And it always starts with short answer. And of course, we're going to go through all of these one at a time. So a short answer is really good for small bits of text. Of course, the user could technically type as much as they want to in that section. You can also choose for certain response validation, which means that you can select what type of text they are entering. It could be a number, it could be length requirements, like you only want so many characters, or maybe even a minimum character count. You could ask for specific text to be shown, like it contains a certain word that you're looking for, or an email address. If you're collecting email addresses from parents at the beginning of the year, this is really helpful. Or if it's a URL that they're just entering a link, then you can select that there. So there's lots of options here. You can add a description. It's just more information, but I typically do not do that. You can select it to be required. You can duplicate it here. You can add an image to it here. And then we're going to go on to the next one. The next type of question would be paragraph. That's your next choice here. And this is for if they're going to be typing a lot longer response. Just keep in mind that they can't insert like tabs or line breaks in between paragraphs. So this would really only be for a one paragraph type of answer. So you might want a minimum character count or a maximum character count here. You can still validate their responses just like you did the other one. It matches certain things. You can validate it there however you like. You just have to select response validation here. Otherwise, you won't have that option. So let's say that we want it to contain the word cat, and we'll look for that later. Okay, the next option is multiple choice. So that's here, multiple choice. It gives you options here. You can select an answer to be the correct answer. You can technically select more than one answer to be the correct answer, but I don't recommend doing that to students because they're so used to and trained to select one choice in a multiple choice answer. You could, however, add all of the above as an option. But if you're going to do all of the above, you should not shuffle the option order. So you can shuffle it there, but only do that if you don't have something that says all of the above or none of the above, because this could be somewhere up here and then it won't make sense. So I'm going to erase that. So you select shuffle if it doesn't say all of the above or none of the above. You can also go to a section based on an answer here, which is really cool for building personalized paths and personalized learning in these forms. So if they get it correct, they might move on to the next section, but if they don't, they might just go back to another previous section, or maybe this is a voice and choice option here. So if they choose this one, like let's say I want to go to this author, then you would have a section that will lead them to that if they select that choice. So this is really cool for building personalized paths and voice and choice. I'm going to take that off for now. I'm going to require this. So the next one is checkboxes, and this is great for whenever you have a multi-select answer that you want for them. You can also have response validation here checked on. You can say, okay, they have to select at least two options here, or however much you want. You can say select at most. You can say select exactly two. You can be very specific about how many choices they select right there. However, this does not offer you a chance to go to another section based on their response, like the multiple choice had. You can shuffle here the options if you don't have all of the above or something like that selected there. So I'm going to have the answers. Let's say my answers are 1 and 3. I'm going to assign a point to it, and we'll see what happens if it's wrong. And I'm going to require it. Okay, and then drop-down menus are very much like multiple choice, and because they can only select one here, and it's really more for when you have a long list of answer options. So it's going to drop down just like this menu here. Let's say the answer is 5. Okay, you do have the choice to shuffle it and to go to a section based on answer with this type of question. So you could personalize a path here or do voice and choice here as well. All right, so the next one is being able to upload a file. So let's say this is the option that we have here. It's going to ask you, do you trust the people that you're sending this to? Please don't share it to just anybody. And of course, you'll say, I do trust the people that I'm sending it to. And then they will be able to upload the types of files that you want them to upload. So let's say it's a specific type. I might just be looking for a PDF, or I'm looking for a video or image only. Okay, so you can make selections there. You can let them have up to 10 files that they upload, and you can even select a upload size. That's the maximum. Okay, and I'm not going to require that one for now. And then you can use linear scale to do like a rating system for whatever you're doing. Let's say that you're rating a book or something that you've just read. You're asking students to rate it. Then you want to give a description for what the numbers mean in this scale. So 1 might be awful, 5 might be awesome, and you can even include emojis in here as well whenever you are rating that. The next one is a multiple choice grid. This is quite complicated. It can be confusing. You definitely don't want to have more than 6 columns because otherwise they're going to have to scroll. There will be a scroll bar here that will show up, and it can get a little confusing. So the rows would be kind of like the question that you're asking, and the columns are more like the answers. You can do this for all kinds of things. You can use this for rating, like this one has rating books. You can even select that they have to respond in each row here. You can also select that you want only one response per column. And you can also shuffle here, shuffle the row order, okay? And for something like this where it's an opinion, you don't want to, maybe you don't want to assign points to it. Okay, and then let's say that it's vocabulary matching with definitions. You can actually select the correct answer and assign points per row. Okay, and again, you would want them to make sure that they responded in each row, and maybe make sure that they only have one response in each column so that it doesn't count against them. And we'll see what that looks like whenever we preview this form. Okay, now a checkbox grid is very similar to the multiple choice grid, but let's say that you have a question here in the row that identifies more than one answer. That's what's great about the checkbox grid. For instance, this question says which energy types are related to position of an object. Well, both of these are related to position of an object. Okay, so I'm going to show you the answer key here. So here we've got 2 options checked here for 1 point. Maybe I want to count that as 2 points because there's 2 options here. And then so on and so forth. This is the actual energy of a position or place. That is potential energy. So now you can see that I've got it selected in 2 places in this column. Okay, so I want to make sure that I do not select limit to 1 response per column for that one because I have 2 answers for that column. You can shuffle the row order here, and you can make sure that they actually respond in each row there. The last 2 options are about date and time. So the date option might be if you want to log some information about an activity, or you want to maybe poll people about maybe even a field trip or something like that, some event. You could even get their birth date here. So that would be what that kind of question might be for. And then time gives you a couple of options. Also with the date, sorry, you can include time here as part of it. So it's like could be a specific time. So if you're scheduling like a parent conference or something, you might want to include that if you're sending that out to parents. Okay, here with time, the last option, time right here, you get to make a selection on whether it's time, like what time did you wake up this morning in AM and PM only to the nearest minute, or you can select duration. How long were you reading today? So it could be a log for activities that you've done. So let's view this form and see all the different advanced question options we have. Next here I wanted to see the word cat listed. So let's see what happens after that. Multiple choice, check boxes. See, it showed me that I must select at least 2 options, so I'm going to select that. But since it says at least, I can select 3. And if it's other, then I need to actually type something there. So I'll do that. Okay, and then this might actually be a good option for students who, if it's more of an open-ended type of thing, you could have them type their own ideas there. Okay, drop down is exactly what it's saying. It's drop down. Of course, I shuffled the order here, so it's in random order. Add a file. You would click that, it would open your drive, and then you could select a file. Rating system, I've got awesome here. Here's another rating system kind of thing. Remember, it wouldn't let me move on until I had selected at least one option for each row here. Okay. But it's also not letting me move on until I have only one option per column as well. I can't double dip like this. Okay. So for this question, that's actually not a good option. I need to turn that off. Okay. So if I'm matching a vocabulary term and definition, let's just say, all right, so it's already telling me that I need to select at least one response. No, I can only select one response per row. So I've got one there, and I'm going to get some wrong so that you can see what happens to my points on each question. Here is our check boxes. So remember, we can select whatever here. It's all over the place. You just have to have at least one response per row. Okay, and then here is the date. When's your birth date? And then here is time. How long did you read today? I would need to list how long I read up to the nearest second. Let's say 0 hours, 30 minutes, 0 seconds. Okay, now I'm going to submit it and view the responses. Okay, so it allowed me to say cat, dog because I was looking specifically for the word cat there. Multiple choice told me I got it wrong, told me the correct answer. Same here with the check boxes. It said this was wrong and this was wrong. I needed to select 1 and 3. Drop down, I got that one right. Okay, but you can provide feedback there. Okay, the multiple choice grid, looking good. You're allowed to select whatever there because it's an opinion. Here's another multiple choice grid where you needed to match the term with the definition, and I didn't get any of those right, so I missed a point for each one. Here were the correct answers, so I would have gotten a point if I had gotten one of these in the right place. I would have gotten only 1 point out of 3 there. So that's where you can do partial credit type of questions. Same here, you could do partial credit type of questions. Here's the correct answers. Here's the date and the time selected. So that's how you can use advanced questions options in your forms.